Good morning, good afternoon. Matt, how's it going? Jake, Victoria, Michael, and Lynn, always chilling. I like it. How's everybody today? You could all unmute yourselves and talk. It's just the 12:30 group is intimate.
Good morning, or actually good afternoon.
I don't know where anyone is anymore, so it's very confusing with all these different time zones. And I guess it's afternoon. No, it's in the West Coast.
It's morning.
There we go. There's that energy coming in hot. All right, so here's something interesting. So we have this webinar tomorrow about the shifting market, and we have over 300 different responses from people of how they're lost. And a lot of this stuff, quite frankly, is stuff that we're covering today. The nice part is I have all these questions. I'm not answering all their questions, but I'll answer them all for you. So I'm going to want to go through today after hearing some more from all of you. And the concerning part I realized in this would be the fourth session that we're doing this combined with the morning ones, is I'm not hearing enough stuff from all of you, which is a challenging part. It's challenging because that means there are things going on in your life because these are the conversations that everyone's having and you're not sharing them. You're either not sharing them or you're not having them. And either way, that's a whole nother thing. Because if you're not having the conversations, we need to get you into a place where you can have the conversations. If you're not sharing them, the question really is why. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing bad that comes out of it. The people that understand how to have these dialogues are going to win the market. So I had a call with someone at Compass Corporate yesterday about content, right? And like how to effectively message this to clients. And do you know what I told the woman? I go, you want to know the number one reason that the majority of people aren't going to send your stuff out? And she looked at me and she goes, yeah, why? I'm like, because they don't want the client to hit reply and ask them questions because they don't know what to say. So let me ask all of you, would you send something out to somebody where you didn't know how to reply if people had questions? No. So we need to be able to get ahead of this. I know from our email responses, people are lost. They have no, let's see, there's 392 people have signed up so far, right? How can we best advise sellers on the right time to list their properties now? Conditions may change in the coming months. Dealing with unrealistic expectations. How to explain there is not a housing bubble, the difference between that and a shift. I'm actually interested to hear what questions other agents have. How to discuss the market shift with clients in a positive way. How to continue to close business during a market shift, right? The number one thing we should be doing daily in a shifting market. How to handle pricing. How do you see mortgage rates affecting the home buying process? I'm hearing different approaches to rough conversations and picking up some verbal jujitsu to cope with the challenges of the next market swing. Do you see all of these things that people are saying? Now, do you guys feel confident you could answer most of those questions now? Okay, so let's get you comfortable. All right, Ann, you're up first. And then Holly, you're next.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, look, I'm going to walk you through the framework of this, right? Number one is you have to acknowledge, we'll go with buyers and then we'll go with sellers. If you're buying a home, you have to acknowledge that it sucks, right? I was on a coaching call and somebody said, well, we were talking about this and there was a coach that I had. I'm like, look, like, you know, if you're in a relationship or a marriage and your spouse is cheating on you and like, you know, having no emotional intelligence is like, oh yeah, at least you found out now. Or then and my coach, she goes, or it's like saying, well, at least they don't beat you also, right? Like, you know, so it's like the rates have gone up and it sucks. And then us agents are like, well, it's still a historical low, right? Like it's not that bad. Like that is what you don't want to say to anybody. It sucks, it sucks. But once you acknowledge that, then you could fill the gap, right? On $1 million mortgage, the difference in the payment is like $1,200 a month. Is that $1,200 a month a lot of money? Yeah, but relatively for a lot of people, no. They spend money on dumb shit every day. No one here is stopping going to Starbucks because of what's going on in the economy, are you? No. Are you going to not go out to dinner? No. Do you do a whole bunch of this stuff? Yes. Do your clients do all this stuff? Yes. But then if you ask them to spend $300 more on a house, they're like, wait a second, I don't know about this. Who does that happen to here? Everybody, except Victoria, who's like a ninja at that. Your clients are better, right? So good for you. At least someone has good juju in the world. Here's the reality though. It's about putting it in perspective. So if someone wouldn't spend $300 on a house, do you know what I would say to them, man? I would say, let me ask you a question. Would you go out to dinner tonight? And they're going to say, yes. I go, would you be looking at the prices and ordering based on the prices, or would you order what you want and you enjoy your night? They said, no, we'd order what we want to enjoy our night. Would you have wine? Would you have dessert? Sure. Great. A week go next week, if some friends were in town or you wanted to make plans, would you go out to dinner and do the same things? You're going to say yes. And then I would turn around and I'd say, okay, great. Based on that fact, I think you should pull your offer for the house. And they're going to be so thrown off because the two of them have nothing to do with each other, correct? And then I would say to me, a home means blank, right? Go back to all the things they told you. I want to raise my kids here. It's walking distance to the train. And in reality, if you can go out to dinner and feel okay doing that in a disposable transaction, and you don't want to pay that much money to live in a home that means blank, then I don't think you should buy it. We should pull your offer and I'll go set up showings for new homes. That's called the takeaway clause. When you start taking things away from your clients, like, no, I don't think you should buy that. Let's just keep going. Generally speaking, what do they do? Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean I can't have this? Right? They want it. But if you sound like, well, it's only $300 and rates are still low. And, if you really want it, it's not that, look, it's down the blah, 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 blah. You can't, because it doesn't resonate with them in things that they already understand and know. It's not the right context, right? So understanding this is more of the framework of the conversation. Right? Buyers, it's understanding how to do the data. Now we'll go to Holly for this. All right, Holly, what is your question here? Unmute yourself. Oops, I did that. That was me. All right, go. My hands are up.
Okay. Yesterday, we were talking about doing a chart showing rates versus what the price was on a house and showing how the affordability was decreasing. Is there a form anywhere or is there anything in the Compass platform that would enable me to do that really easily? Because
you need people that are like delusionally optimistic like me, that are just sick weirdos and stay up at night thinking about this stuff because I worry about all of you. Someone goes, where do you get this stuff? I go, worry. They go, worry about what? I go, I worry about everyone else. I worry that you guys don't have what you need. You don't have the conversations. You don't have the date. Like, you don't have all this stuff, right? This is just where all of this stuff comes from, is because every single day of my life, I think of all of you, right? And it's like, how do I keep you ahead? How do I keep you in front of this? How do I make sure that you feel confident and secure and not lost and lonely and depressed? Like, these are all things people deal with in real estate. And to me, like, I live off of people's energy. And like, if I have to see you every day, I want you to smile. I want you to be happy. And I want you to send me great emails of great things that have happened in your life because of your business, right? Like that's what this is all about, right? So here, let me show you how this would look.
Okay, I was going to say, what would be really helpful is if we had just kind of a plug and play thing where the rate was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we could plug in the price and it would automatically do it for us. Is that an unrealistic expectation?
I don't know. The person I know that knows how to do this is currently in another country. Calculator. Who knows an Excel wizard?
I don't.
These are Excel formulas. That's it. All right, so watch, let me show you this. Just say mortgage amount. Sorry, guys, I have OCD. So there's your mortgage amount, right? So we'll say this is your rate. This would be, Now you have to do some research for this. This is how I would do it. Like rates have consistently gone up, right? Let's just make this up. Let's just say this is 3%. This is 3.5%. This is 4%. 4.5%. Wow, this is scary how accurate this is. Isn't this crazy how much this is right now? Look, it's almost like 0.5% consistently for the month. Per month. Because we're almost at 5.5%. Does that look about right? Now you just fill in the payment, right? And then I would put in July, I would put a question mark, right? Because you don't know what the rate's going to go up to July. And then we just start speculating. You could say now at 6%, 6.5%, 7%. Now I'd fill in the monthly payments. I'll share the sheet with you, don't you worry. And now you can just go to a mortgage calculator, right? And so now you have something to go off of. So now the other chart you want to do is like if this was $1 million today, right? You flip it now and said, how much has this gone down by waiting? Right? Like the percent change, right? Say this is $3,500. Now what does $3,500 get you in today's rate? Brooke, you could make something like this, right? All right.
Yes, I just messaged you. I can do that.
All right, so there you guys go. Brooke will fill out the sheet while we're on this call right now. She'll just start plugging in the mortgage rates. I'm just gonna. Well, she'll create this today. So, all right, Brooke. So what we really also want to show, right, is as we're doing this, how much it's changed, right? Like at 3%, you could afford $1 million at 3,500. But now the inverse relationship, 3,500 based on today's rate gets you how much of a mortgage, right? You have to flip it backwards as well so that we could really highlight it to sellers, right? So this is good for buyers, but the next chart would be for sellers, right? It could say, look, in January at 3,500, they could afford $1 million. Today at 3,500, they could afford $627,000. And at this trending rate, what do you think buyers would ultimately expect a seller to do? Does that make sense? And then I'd make it look, all nice. What do you guys think? Yes, no? Do you see how to use this?
Yes.
Do you see how this is helpful now? Do you think anyone else is doing this? And my real question is why? This is not like rocket science or anything profound like that, you know? So you just have to show this to someone and understand how to guide them through the conversation and asking the right questions. Yeah, mortgage lenders should. Yeah, exactly. They want all your business. Make them work. Look, I asked someone to do this for me, and they literally drew out a drawing and they sent it to me. I said, well, the numbers are helpful, but if someone asked me to do this and I could have all my information on it, I'd be sending this thing out everywhere, right? This is something good that you could email your clients once you design it out, and they'll share it with other people. All right, who else has questions?
Let's see.
Lynn.
I have a quick question. It's not totally related, but my listing went live last week and I told you the showings have been a disaster. How long do you think I should wait to do a price reduction? Even
Days
though
on, what is
even
the
though I
av-
think it's priced properly.
what are the average days on market?
Now there's 7. So
There you go.
went from 4 to 7. Now it's 7. But like realistically, if it doesn't go the first weekend, I don't know. It's like jumping into space. I don't know.
So I would just show it after the first week.
Yeah.
They just
But
put.
then it's July 4th weekend. I don't know.
I would wait one more week after that.
Okay. I agree then. Perf. Thanks.
Then go back to data. Jake, guys, Jake dropped some stuff in here about how to build mortgage calculators and Excel sheets. Brooke, take a look at that as opposed to if we could just use that and then share it with everyone. Even if we have to buy it, it's better than having.
I mean, there are numerous ones that I'm trying to find, but if you just put in, mortgage calculator, Google Sheets, there'll be a few options for the formulas because the formulas are complicated. And I would never qualify it as being 100% accurate. I would just say this is a general idea of, your mortgage payment.
It's just mortgage and interest, right? It doesn't include tax and insurance, right? So, and the whole point of this is not to gauge the payment. It's just to show a trend.
Right.
That's the big thing.
But as a buyer, it's shifting, at least in the Denver area, where you're not, the way over asking trends are vaporizing. So as a buyer, the idea of having to pay $80,000, $100,000 over asking, how much more would that be per month? Now you're getting it at asking, your interest rates are higher, maybe it'll balance out. Maybe it'll equal itself out in the monthly payments. I mean, there's a different thought process there. There's more benefit for a buyer because there's not as much competition.
Mm-hmm. So look, in doing this, you have to be able to guide the conversation and speak with facts and ask them questions. Present the fact and ask them question. Present the fact and ask them a question. It's not about anything else. They remember those 7 rules of effective communication. Rule number 1, it's always their choice. Rule number 2, the person asking the questions controls the conversation. Rule number 3, always be in agreement with the client. Rule number 4, it always has to be in the client's benefit. Rule number 5, no telling, no explaining, no being combative. Rule number 6, don't be attached to the outcome. Rule number 7, just because they made a bad choice does not mean that you have to compromise your values. I need you guys to get this and the framework for it. It is really easy and no one can be mad at you. Remember, don't say anything where people can be mad at you. Like, don't like make yourself the potential scapegoat, right? Like that's the big thing in all of this.
And those 7 are on the website.
Brooke, can you we'll add it to the newsletter this week. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Listen, once you understand the framework, it's just like insert what you need, right? Like when this converts over to the playbook in like a couple weeks, our blueprint course will be in there, Jake, and a lot of this stuff is in there. The irony is we made the program like 3.5, 4 months ago, and everything in there is relevant. Changed low inventory market to excessive interest rates, inflation. And the thing you have to be mindful of is all of these interest rate hikes. It's like, think about a snowball, right? And like you're putting up a barrier to stop it. And the inflation just like, boom. All these interest rate hikes have done nothing to inflation. Nothing. So we need to be prepared for this. And look, 80% of moves are essential. People will adapt. The economy will reset. It's just a natural process. It's not a housing market crash. If prices went up by 20, 30% in some areas because of this condition called COVID, which was like a national pandemic or worldwide pandemic, and some of those prices correct back to, still higher levels, but, and a significant adjustment prior to pre-COVID, that's not abnormal. Who else has a question? Very quiet today.
Oh,
I'll share a little brief success story.
Okay.
So Mark Hernandez and I just got our client's offer accepted, 50,000 over ask, but still under the comps over the last 6 months. So to your point, and we've been working with them for about 5 weeks, they feel like they got a deal. Not our words, their words, because we've been coaching them on where the market is at and what's been going on, and prefacing every conversation with what could happen. So they feel great about what they got. And so to your point, Chirag, it's all about setting the expectation and letting them know what's going on in the market, so they're happy in many ways.
Expectation setting, it's all about that. You either need to set them up front or you need to realign all the people that you have right now. I'd be going back to every single person, Jake. Hey, I know a lot has changed since you first started. Between interest rates and inflation, I want to make sure that we align around your current goals and expectations. And that's that. So we went through a lot of information today, a lot, very quickly. So thanks to Holly, everyone's going to have some sort of interest rate sheet by the end of the day. So thank you, Holly. Look, that's a big part of this, right? Like, I don't want to just tell you to do stuff if you're not going to do it. If we can make it for you, we will. I just want people to use this stuff. That's all I care about. Like when Ann tells me she used a template and got a $1.9 million listing or buyer, was it buyer or seller? It was a buyer, and she got a closing out of that. Like, that's incredible. Like, that's crazy, but it's incredible. So here are my takeaways for today. Stay in action, review the data, practice asking questions, right? Stay engaged, stay dialed in. We're going to keep doing this. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a couple of you role play this, and I'm going to give feedback. So come tomorrow with your camera on. And if half of you bail out, I will be looking for you and emailing you. So if you can't be here tomorrow, I'd honestly tell me now. If not, you could maybe expect to get some crazy message from me. Somebody just disappeared. Margie's like, I'm not dealing with this. But no, in all seriousness, I'd rather push you here than have something bad happen in the real world. So as always, with love in my heart, I love you all. You have a question?
I do. I have a question. I'm trying to figure out the, I see on the calendar, we have the webinar.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we have an all you guys are exempt now. Tomorrow we have a 1 hour session webinar. So make sure you join the webinar. We're gonna be going through a lot of these questions.
So noon,
Noon
East
to 1.
Coast.
Yep.
Got it.
Show
Okay.
some love in the chat box as we talk about our playbook program. And look, we're looking to grow the community, right? And we find people in the community are best advocates. So it'd be great if you guys could share. And ultimately, we will be doing some in-person business planning. So once my office opens, I'll get to host a slew of you guys here in Connecticut, which will be good. So we all kinds of fun new things coming. So we shall see you all tomorrow at noon.
All right.
And we'll get
Thanks,
this,
Chirag.
and we'll get this sheet made for you all. All right. Bye, everybody.